The last note of the Moonlight Sonata hung in the air like a ghost refusing to leave. In the dim glow of the single bulb above the upright piano, 16-year-old Lila's fingers hovered over the keys, trembling. She couldn't see the ivory, but she felt every ridge, every worn edge where countless students before her had pressed their dreams into the wood. Her teacher, Mr. Elias Crow, 34, perpetually late on rent, and the only soul in the city who still believed music could fix what eyes could not, leaned closer. Again, he whispered. But this time, let the silence after the note speak louder than the note itself. Lila's unseeing eyes glistened. She nodded, swallowed the lump in her throat, and began. That was when the door opened. Not the creaky side door the janitors used. The main entrance, polished mahogany, brass handle, the one that only opened when someone with a six-figure keycard decided to grace the community center after hours. High heels clicked like gunshots across the linoleum. Turn on the lights, a voice commanded, crisp, impatient, the kind of voice that closed boardrooms and shattered glass ceilings. Elias froze. Lila's hands slipped from the keys, producing a discordant crash that ricocheted through the room like shame. The lights blazed. Standing in the doorway was Victoria Langford, CEO of Langford Biotech, face on the cover of Forbes last month, net worth scribbled in commas even Elias couldn't count. And in that fluorescent glare, her gaze locked not on the piano, not on the scattered sheet music in Braille, but on the man who had been teaching her daughter in secret for 6 months. Mom? Lila's voice cracked like thin ice. Victoria's lipstick was the color of fresh blood. Explain. #### Chapter 1, The Boy Who Stayed Late. Elias Crow had never planned to become anyone's miracle. He grew up in the same crumbling brick apartments 3 blocks from the community center, the kind where the heat worked only when the super felt generous. His mother cleaned offices downtown, his father existed in photographs and child support envelopes that arrived late. Music was the only inheritance that showed up on time. At 12, he found a discarded keyboard in a dumpster behind the high school. No power cord, half the keys sticky with soda, but it sang when he pressed middle C. He taught himself chords by ear, sneaking into the band room after hours, praying the janitor wouldn't notice the light under the door. By 25, he had a degree in music education he couldn't afford to frame and a gig teaching group lessons to bored suburban kids who treated, for Elise, like a TikTok challenge. The community center paid $12 an hour, cash under the table, no benefits. Enough for rent and instant noodles. Then came the flyer. Volunteer instructors needed. Special needs students. Evenings, *. He almost threw it away. But the word blind caught him. He thought of his grandmother, how she'd gone dark in her 70s, how she'd sit on the porch humming hymns she could no longer read. How no one had played for her after the nursing home cut the music program. He signed up. The first night, only one student showed, Lila Langford, guided in by a driver who smelled of leather and new money. She wore sunglasses indoors, hair in a braid so tight it looked painful. Her cane tapped like a metronome. "I don't need pity lessons," she announced. "Good," Elias said. "I don't give pity. I give scales." She smirked. And stayed. #### Chapter 2, The Language of Touch. Lila learned differently. Most students watched his fingers. She listened to the weight of them, how he depressed the key a millimeter deeper for warmth, how he lifted for staccato like a bird taking flight. He started with single notes. "This is home," he said, pressing her index finger to middle C. "Everything else is just a journey away from it." She hated wrong notes. Not because they sounded bad, she couldn't compare, but because they felt like lies beneath her skin. One night, 3 months in, she slammed the fallboard so hard the piano groaned. "I can't do this. I'll never play like you." Elias didn't flinch. "I don't want you to play like me. I want you to play like you." He took her hand, placed it over his heart. Feel that? 72 beats per minute. That's your tempo tonight. She laughed through tears. And played. They developed rituals. Tuesday. Bach preludes, because structure calmed her anxiety. Thursday ** improvisation, because chaos taught her trust. Saturday ** after hours, when the center locked its doors and the world forgot them. He never asked about her mother. The driver dropped her off, picked her up, eyes forward. Lila volunteered nothing. Elias assumed wealth, absence, the usual equation. He was wrong. Chapter 3, The Mother Who Never Slept. Victoria Langford hadn't slept through the night since Lila was 4. That was the year the fever came, meningitis, bacterial, the kind doctors spoke about in hushed tones. Retina damage. Irreversible. Victoria had been in Tokyo, closing a merger. She flew home on the company jet, heels in hand, mascara streaking like war paint. By the time she arrived, Lila was stable. Sight, gone. Victoria fired 3 nannies, installed cameras in every room, hired the best tutors, the best therapists, the best surgeons in Switzerland. Nothing brought the light back. She built an empire on replacement parts, artificial retinas in clinical trials, gene therapies that promised miracles by 2030. Every breakthrough was a penance. Lila hated the labs. Hated the pitying smiles of PhDs who spoke to her like a broken doll. At 14, she discovered piano through a school program. The teacher quit after 2 sessions, too challenging. Victoria offered to buy a Steinway, hire Lang Lang for private lessons. Lila refused. I want to earn it. Not inherit it. So Victoria did the only thing she knew how to do, she delegated. Found the community center. Paid the director under the table to keep it quiet. Told the driver, if anyone asks, she's at study hall. She never visited. Until the night her calendar pinged, * Lila missed curfew. GPS, community center, *. Chapter 4, The Confrontation. Victoria's shadow fell across the piano like an eclipse. Elias stood slowly, wiping sweat from his brow with the sleeve of his threadbare sweater. Mrs. Langford. Ms., her voice could freeze mercury. You've been teaching my daughter without permission. Lila's cane clattered to the floor. Mom, stop. Quiet. Victoria's eyes never left Elias. Name. Credentials. References. He swallowed. Elias Crow. I volunteer here. No credentials beyond this. He gestured to the piano, the braille sheets, the empty room that smelled of lemon polish and desperation. You think you can teach her better than Juilliard faculty? I think she can teach herself better than anyone force-feeding her perfection. Silence. Lila's breath hitched. He's the first person who didn't treat me like I'm made of glass. Victoria's jaw tightened. Pack your things. We're leaving. Lila didn't move. No. The word landed like a chord resolving after 12 bars of tension. Victoria blinked. Excuse me? I said no. Lila's voice shook, but her chin lifted. I'm staying. With him. Elias felt the room tilt. Victoria stared at her daughter, at the girl who hadn't defied her since the diagnosis. Then at Elias, as if seeing him for the first time. The stubble. The calluses. The quiet certainty in his eyes. She exhaled through her nose. 1 month. Audition for the City Youth Orchestra. If you're not ready, lessons end. Permanently. Lila's fingers found the keys again, a soft C major. Deal. Chapter 5, The Month of Fire. They rehearsed like the world was ending. Week 1 **** Rachmaninoff Prelude in C-sharp minor. Lila's nemesis, octaves that spanned farther than her hands could reach. Elias built hand strength exercises with rice buckets and prayer. Week 2 **** Stage fright. She couldn't see the audience, but she felt them, phantom eyes judging every mistake. Elias blindfolded himself during lessons. Now we're even. Week 3 **** Victoria showed up unannounced. Sat in the back. Said nothing. Left a check for $10,000 on the piano, for proper equipment. Elias tore it up. We're not a charity case. Week 4 **** Exhaustion. Lila collapsed during a run-through, forehead hitting the keys in a glissando of pain. Elias carried her to the couch, heart hammering. Called Victoria himself. She arrived in under 8 minutes, record time from the penthouse. For the first time, she saw the room, the cracked mirror, the motivational posters curling at the edges, the way Elias had taped braille labels to every light switch so Lila could navigate alone. Victoria's voice was small. She's pushing too hard. She's pushing exactly hard enough, Elias said. Question is, are you? Chapter 6, The Audition. The orchestra hall smelled of rosin and nerves. 3 judges. 1 piano. 500 seats, mostly empty. Lila wore a simple black dress Victoria had overnight from Paris. Elias wore the same sweater, now with a hole in the elbow. Backstage, Victoria paced. If she freezes. She won't, Elias said. How do you know? Because she's not playing for them. She's playing for the girl who lost her sight and found her voice. Lila walked on stage alone. Cane tapping. Spotlight blinding even to those who could see. She sat. Breathed. And began. The Rachmaninoff unfolded like a storm, thunder in the bass, lightning in the treble. Her hands, once too small, now commanded the keyboard with ferocity and grace. When she reached the final cadence, the hall was silent for 3 full seconds. Then applause, thunderous, undeserved, perfect. Chapter 7, The Reckoning. Backstage, Victoria waited with tears she didn't bother hiding. Lila launched into her arms. I did it. You did. Victoria's voice broke. She looked at Elias over Lila's shoulder. Thank you. He shrugged, suddenly shy. She did the work. Victoria stepped closer. No. You saw her when I couldn't. Lila pulled back. Mom, can Mr. Crow keep teaching me? For real this time? Victoria smiled, the first genuine one Elias had ever seen. Only if he lets me pay for a decent piano. Elias laughed. Deal. But I pick it. Steinways are overrated. Epilogue, the song that stayed. A year later, the community center had a new wing, funded anonymously. The piano was a 1926 Bluthner, restored, warm as sunset. Lila toured with the youth orchestra. Victoria stepped down as CEO, took a sabbatical, learned to play chopsticks, badly. And every Saturday night, after hours, Elias and Lila still played. Sometimes Victoria joined them, sitting in the back, no longer a shadow but a third voice in the harmony. One night, Lila improvised a melody, simple, haunting. What's it called? Elias asked. She smiled. After hours, The screen fades to black. A single line appears. If this story touched you, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We drop new stories every week. Because everyone deserves a song worth staying late for. Then, softly, the opening notes of After Hours play as the credits roll.